Hello, good afternoon. This is David Soto talking to you, and today is my weekly trade predictions for the upcoming trading week of January 20th through the 24th. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the major currency pairs on a 30-minute chart, and we're going to look at what has happened this past week, and then compare that time frame to higher time frames such as the 4-hour or daily, and then I'm going to try to give you my analysis on what I think is going to happen this coming week based on what has happened this past week. Okay. So to begin with, I want to look at EURUSD. Okay, we see here it's been pretty much a flat ranging market this past week, and the price ended slightly lower than where it began, but overall, we did not see any significant gains, or losses. It just pretty much was stagnant. So with that said, are we going to develop any new trends this week? Okay, uptrends or downtrends? Okay. If we notice here on the 4-hour, okay, the 4-hour has a down arrow, but it never formed an up arrow. Now, it came down to this level here and came back up and came back down to the same level, okay? This was like last week. So this past week, this is the previous week. So this past week, it came up and came back down to the same level again. So the question is it going to go up or is it going to keep going down? We notice here on the 1-hour chart, okay, it hit the same level of support, right? Like I just said. And we have 2 blue arrows. So technically it should be going up. Now, if we look at the daily chart, we have a down arrow, okay? But the weekly and monthly show it to go up. So long term, this is definitely going to be going up as the US dollar has been fighting to go down slowly into a downtrend. All right, so we know the euro, the Great British Pound, all these other pairs have been fighting to go up. So long term, this is going to be going up. In the short term, however, this is scheduled to go down, drop. Okay, and it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen. Like this past week, we had a ranging market. Okay, so I think this week we're probably going to see more of that. If you notice here, we're at a pretty strong level of support and it's already starting to bounce back up. And like I said, the 1-hour shows to go up. So what I think, this is just what I think is going to happen. I cannot set in stone, but what I think is going to happen is that yes, we're going to see the price come back up the first part of the week. And then around probably about Wednesday, we're going to see the price drop off again. Okay, probably Tuesday going into Wednesday, we'll see the price come back down. And I think that this will break support and it will drop even further, okay? Because the daily is showing to go down, okay? Now, how far will it drop is very difficult to say. If we come here, look at this. We have a support, okay? I can see this with my own eyes without drawing anything, but I wanted to illustrate this for you, okay? This is a support line for uptrend. Okay, so if the price comes back up, it's going to retrace and come back down to this support. And at that point on the daily chart, I think we're going to form an up arrow. Okay, and then we will see a continuation of uptrend. So this week we can expect mostly a ranging market with a slight downtrend. Okay, the first part of the week, watch the price go up, and then towards the end of the week, watch it go down and break the support and drop even further. Okay, so the price should end lower than where it started. Okay, that's what I predict for this upcoming trading week. All right, and moving on to GBPUSD. Okay, Great British Pound versus US dollar. We kind of see the same scenario where it's a flat ranging market. The price pretty much ended where it began, and we did not see any significant gains or losses. If we go to the 4-hour chart, we see here on the 4-hour that yes, is definitely fighting to go down. And we look at the daily, we see a similar scenario to EURUSD, right? That this is definitely getting ready to drop. So with that said, let me adjust my camera a bit. We should see, this is gonna be a slightly different. In the beginning of the week, I don't think we're going to see any significant gains. 30-minute chart shows that it wants to go up, right? So we should see a slight increase on Monday, but Tuesday going into Wednesday, we're definitely going to see a big drop. And long term, this should be dropping most of the week. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and just say it's going to drop most of the week. If we come here on the weekly and monthly, it shows it wants to go up, right? And the daily shows it wants to go down. But if we go to the weekly, I'm trying to find an uptrend, right? Look at this, okay? So right here, we're showing an uptrend, okay? And this is on a weekly, but if I go back down to the daily, we see that I can probably readjust this slightly, but we see that it is getting close to a level of support, right? So like I said, we're going to see a lot of ranging markets this week, but we should see a steady drop. Okay, we'll have up down, but you'll see a steady drop in the GBPUSD. All right, it's going to drop down and touch this trend line. I can about 99% guarantee it's going to drop and hit that trend line. Okay, this is on a daily chart, so keep that in mind. Now, each candle represents one day, so it's probably going to drop most of this week, and then by Friday, we should see this trend line get touched. Okay, no guarantees, but we should see that trend line get touched, and then going into next week, we should see a resurge, and we should see this price shooting back up again. Okay. Moving on to Australian dollar versus US dollar, okay, AUDUSD. We see again a similar fashion. We're mostly a flat range market this past week, and the price had ended slightly lower than where it began, and that's fine. But if we look at the higher time frames, okay, the 1 hour shows it wants to go up, and the 4 hour shows, the 4 hour shows to go down. Okay. So, yes, in the beginning of the week, we should see an increase in price. Okay, we should see the price go back up at the beginning of the week, and then, you know, towards about the middle of the week, we should see the price drop again. That's what I'm guessing. The daily shows that it wants to go down, but the weekly and monthly show it to go up. Okay, so long term, this is definitely going to be going up. If you come back here to the weekly and draw an uptrend like this, okay? Let me zoom in a bit. Maybe, I don't think it really matters. I'm going to draw a trend line coming up like this, okay? Let's see here how good I can draw. Okay, so this is our support line going up, okay? And what we can expect if I drop back down to a smaller time frame is for this trend line to come up and touch that support right here. So that's what we're expecting. We're expecting this to drop and hit that trend line. Okay, so you're going to see kind of a range of market. You're going to see highs and lows, but overall the price is going to be steadily dropping and coming down to that trend line. Okay, just like the pound USD I just showed you previously. Okay. And then going into next week, we should see a resurge of this price going back up again, okay? So this week we can look to sell it. Primarily, I would look to, you know, sell this most definitely this week. I would probably not look for buy opportunities. US dollar, Swiss franc, moving on. For all intent, this is a range of market, but we did see the price end lower than where it began, and there was a steady downtrend. Okay, going towards the end of the week, the price resurged and came back up. And like I said, the US dollar has been fighting to go into a downtrend for quite some time, but is still a very strong currency, and it's not going to go down without a fight. Okay, US dollar still is the strongest currency in the world. Now, if we look at the 4 hour and daily, okay, we see that yes, it's definitely getting ready to go into an uptrend. Okay, so this is going to cause some disruptions in the EURUSD, pound USD, and it's not going to allow them, you know, to go up like we want them to. Okay, Now, if this keeps going up, then the Euro USD is going to drop. Okay, Pound USD is going to drop. AUD USD is going to drop. Okay, so there's always a correlation, okay, between one another. If one goes up, the other goes down. And like I was saying here, you see these getting ready to drop. Now, US dollar, we see getting ready to go up. Okay, it's the opposite effect, right? So this week, we can expect the US dollar to be gaining, okay? It's not going to be a long-term gain, however, okay? If we come to the weekly, look at the weekly. Weekly shows we have a down arrow. So long-term, this is definitely going to be dropping. And the monthly shows a down arrow as well. So this is kind of the opposite of what we were seeing with the Euro USD, Pound USD, like that, right? So short term, we can expect it to go up. And I would venture out to say that this week the US dollar should definitely be gaining, okay? And how far up will it go? It's difficult to say, but I do see like a trend right here coming down. We can expect this to probably break. I don't know. And we have a support that was right here, and that is now a resistance because it broke. Is now a resistance. So we can expect the price to go at least that high, maybe higher. The next level of support is right in here, okay? And that would probably be the next level that it would go to, okay? If it breaks this trend line, it's going to go up to this resistance here, okay? And if it breaks this resistance, it's going to go up to there. But, you know, I don't know. I cannot say 100% certain. This is on a daily chart, so take it day by day. But definitely look for buy opportunities for the US dollar Swiss franc this week. Moving on to US dollar Japanese yen, again, we see kind of a flat range of market, but the price did increase, right? The price ended higher than where it began. And if we look at different time frames, hourly shows it wants to go down, but it's really not dropping. The 4-hour shows it wants to go down, but again, it's really not dropping. The daily shows to go down, but it hasn't dropped yet. We see a doji candle right there on the daily. So that is a good indication for a reversal. Whenever you see a candle that makes a perfect cross, that's a good indication that there's going to be a reversal. Okay, and the weekly and monthly show this to go up, right? Or the weekly shows to go up, the monthly shows to go down. Now, generally speaking, the US dollar Japanese yen will kind of do an inverse or kind of opposite relation to US dollar Swiss franc, okay, USDCHF. So if USDCHF is going to an uptrend, US dollar Japanese yen is kind of going to a downtrend. And that's not a guarantee, but that's kind of a general correlation, okay? So this week, I would expect this to drop, okay? I would expect this to drop probably most of this week. Like I said, long term, this is going to go up. I can almost bet it. If you go to the monthly chart, now this is so big though, but even on the monthly, we see a resistance right here, okay, that the price is sitting at. You see that? So yes, I would expect this to drop, okay, because it's already at a pretty strong level of resistance. And if you come back here to the daily, and I could probably zoom out a little bit and show you what I mean, we see that this is at a very, very strong level of resistance, and we should see this dropping for most of the week. While USDCHF is going to be going up, this is going to be going down. So look to sell the US dollar Japanese yen this week, unless it breaks trend, but I don't think so. US dollar Canadian dollar, moving on, we see pretty much a perfect flat range of market. Now, do not be scared of these flat range of markets because these are excellent to trade. I would put it on a 15-minute or even 30-minute chart and just trade from arrow to arrow, okay? So flat range of markets are actually very, very good to trade on, especially with my EA, my Excalibur EA. It likes flat range of markets, but that's because you get a lot of up and down movements, a lot of buy and sell, and you can scalp this very easily, okay? So just keep that in mind. Now, what's going to happen this coming week? If we look at the 4-hour chart, okay, let's look at the 4-hour. We have an up arrow, right? And we have an up arrow on the daily, and we have a down arrow on the weekly and monthly as well. So this is almost similar to the US dollar CHF, US dollar Swiss franc, where that this week and the beginning of the week we should see the price going up, and then by the end of the week we should see the price coming back down again. Okay, I do not expect the entire week to be going up. As a matter of fact, this is a little bit different, but I would probably venture out to guess that we're going to see mostly a flat range of market with this, okay? Because both the Canadian dollar and US dollar have really been fighting against one another. And you see here, look, this is in a 4-hour chart. It's been ranging for the last 2 weeks, pretty much, okay? So we should see an increase in the US dollar because the US dollar is gaining traction right now. So we should see this go up. As you see here on the daily, you know, it's definitely fighting to go up. I could draw a trend line like this. I don't know how accurate that is, but that is your support line right here going up. I can't, there. So that's your support line going up. It's already hit that support and it's bounced back up. Okay, so as you can see, it was in a flat range of market. It hit this low point, came back up again. So I think we're going to see a price surge this week, and we should see the price go as high as there's a level of support right here, okay, that was broken and is now resistance. You see the price come back up, hit that resistance right here, okay? All right, it was support, broke, now it's a resistance, okay? Still a resistance because it never actually broke that level, okay? Never went past that. So we can see the price come back up, and for all intents and purposes, this is what's called a rising wedge pattern. All right, the price will get stuck inside this wedge pattern and eventually will break out and drop. But then again, we don't know 100% certain, okay? It could break this resistance and go up even higher. Just follow this trend line. If it drops below this trend line, then we're going to go into a downtrend. But if it breaks this resistance, it's going to keep going up. And if it breaks resistance and keeps going up, then it's going to go to another level of resistance, which would be right here, okay? There's a level of support that broke and is now resistance. You see right here, it hit resistance right here, okay? So that would be the next level that it would go to once that resistance is broken. So this week, I would look to buy US dollar, Canadian dollar. I would look for buy opportunities, but stick to like a 15-minute or 30-minute chart because we're going to see a lot of highs and lows, okay? We're not going to probably see more of a range of market, but overall, it's going to be steadily going up. That is what I predict for the US dollar, Canadian dollar, okay? So this sums up my weekly trade predictions. If you have any questions about these predictions here, or if you have any questions about any other currency pair that you want me to check, I don't have time in this video to show you all the currency pairs. I'll be here for several hours, right? So just hit me up on Facebook if you have any questions, or you want me to look at another currency pair. I'll be happy to try to help you if I can. All I ask is that you also make an analysis and share your analysis with me so we can kind of compare notes, okay? And with that said, I hope you have a wonderful week. Just let me know if there's anything I can do to help you, and thank you for your time. Have a good day.